Tony Vitello and the Tennessee Volunteers find themselves just 2 wins away from Omaha, standing in their way. The Arkansas Razorbacks in the Fayetteville Super Regional, helping us break it all down from the Tennessee perspective. Friend of mine, friend of the show, Eric Cain does a great job with VolQuest, also the host of Locked On Vols. He joins the show once again. Eric, what's going on, man? Appreciate you taking the time. Excited to have you on, excited to talk this weekend, which should be, I would argue, the best super regional on the board.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of good baseball to be had this weekend, and appreciate you having me on. Love talking baseball this time of the year. I mean, it's Tennessee baseball program. It's, playing baseball in June. That's what it does. And but I think there's going to be a lot of baseball this week, a lot of good baseball this weekend. But no doubt about it. I mean, this is the marquee matchup, and I understand the NCAA seeded them this way and all that. But I mean, you're sitting there kicking yourself like, man. Like, damn it. Like, why do we do this? Because you had so many upsets and everything to where, again, good teams are still out there and everything. But you talk about supers matchups. I mean, this is it. And then you talk about how you would love to have both these teams in Omaha from a brand, from a fan base, from a talent perspective and all that. But nonetheless, they square off in supers. And I think this is 2 of the, top 5 teams in terms of college, World Series odds per our friends over at FANDUEL. And I think Tennessee had the 3rd best odds to win its regional. Arkansas had the best odds to win its regional. I mean, these are 2 very talented teams, 2 very trendy teams, and they're going to square off this weekend in Fayetteville. Round 2 this year. Tennessee, of course, ended the regular season in Fayetteville, dropping a series 1-2.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Eric, a rematch of what we saw just a few weeks ago. Before we get there, I do want to talk about what you saw in the regional round. Obviously, the Knoxville Regional. Tennessee comes out on top. They beat Miami of Ohio in Game 1, beat Cincinnati in Game 2, lose that Game 3 to Wake Forest. It goes to a Monday winner-take-all ball game, and what a ball game it was. The emotions were flying. Andrew Fisher's big home run, the 7-run, I believe it was, 4th inning for Tennessee, I believe it was, and Liam Doyle comes in, shuts the door, and again, the bottom line is this, the Vols advance. What did you see out of Tennessee in that Knoxville Regional, things you liked, things you didn't like? Again, the bottom line is this. You find a way to advance, and you're just 2 wins away from Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, this year has been weird, okay? 2022, 2024, best team, number 1 seed, this and that, hosting everything. 23 was different. You started 5-10 in conference play, and then you rallied. You played great baseball the back half of the season, kind of like what Florida did this year a little bit. And, 21, you were up there the entire time as well. This year, it's like you started off great, and you're coming off a national championship, and you start 20-0, and then you sweep Florida to begin SEC play, and it's just like you were the last Division I team to lose a game, and so everybody's just kind of like, oh man, like is this team going to be better than the last team? I never said that because that is just a stupid argument, but it's like, man, this team's just not going to skip a beat, and then you go through the rigors of that as the SEC, and I mean it's. Tony Vitello says it all the time. I mean, it prepares you. It beats you up. It chews you up, spits you out, but it prepares you for what's to come. And we know Tennessee struggles, lost 5 straight series in the season, 6 of 7, all that and more. So what I liked and what I've started to like since that Arkansas series, since Hoover, and this weekend, talent's never been the issue. It's like this team, remember, like, oh yeah, we're pretty good at this baseball thing, right? If I throw and strike this guy out, I mean, I can do it again. If I can hit this ball 400 feet and we can go, celebrate at home plate. Like, I remember how to do these things. And this team's got so much talent. You saw that this weekend. I love the fact that, just complete off topic here, the era of NIL and transfer portal and rev share. And, we got Blake Morningstar and Liam Doyle out there pitching on a Monday. Just love that. Liam Doyle, 104 pitches, 11 strikeouts on Friday. And it's not like Tennessee was losing that game, but Tennessee needed to win, and they went to their ace, and he pretty much fought Tony Vitello for that baseball on Monday. And knowing that he's going to be a top 10 overall draft pick, knowing that he's going to get the ball next weekend if you win, he didn't care. He just wanted to win the baseball game, so I love seeing that. But offense continues to hit pretty well. Bottom of the order, looking really, really good for Tennessee. Marcus Phillips continues to pitch well and manage the run game, so that's been impressive. Another thing, the bullpen emergence. The bullpen, not going to lie to you, been pretty shaky all year long, but A.J. Russell continuing to round into form. Brandon Arvinson, his emergence has been huge. Tanner Franklin, you got good innings out of him. Dylan Loy, bullpen starting to look a little bit as well. So, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is Tennessee's kind of kind of clicking right now. And that's good because you want to be clicking this time of the year and not, where you were a month ago.
And on that note, Eric, you mentioned again Tennessee, Arkansas this weekend for a chance at Omaha. These two teams played a few weeks ago. I think it's interesting because I think both sides can look at that weekend and probably draw a little bit of confidence from it. From the standpoint, if you're Tennessee, you look at it and say, hey, we won game one. We had a great shot to win that series, and maybe you feel like you should have won that series. So you can go in there and win. And if you're Arkansas, obviously you can look at it and say, well, we lost game one, but came back, won the series. We've already beaten these guys once before. How does that previous weekend, how does that matchup a few weeks ago, if at all, how do you think it plays into this weekend from a strategy, game planning? What did Tennessee learn that they can apply? Or is this just a completely separate circumstance and they're going to treat it as such? Your thoughts on how that impacts it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both, right? I mean, you did just see this team, less than a month ago. You know that lineup has no quit in it. That's probably the deepest lineup that Tennessee's seen all year long. I mean, with the Alloy brothers and Helfrich that just killed Tennessee. Koziel, who played at Vanderbilt last year, I believe, and Tennessee's seen him pretty well. Logan Maxwell had a couple of hits. Charles Davilan had a couple. I mean, again, I continue. Iredale. I mean, I continue to mention all these names because over the course of a 3-game series, up and down that lineup, everybody had a moment. And that's just one of the best lineups offensively that I think I've seen all year long and that Tennessee's certainly seen. So you remember that. You remember those individual battles and everything. Zach Root starting the weekend off, and they've got a couple different options behind him. Some shakiness in the starting pitching, but the bullpen, really, really good. But I think it's also a different weekend because, Arkansas drew some confidence from that weekend as well because, like Tennessee, they were sliding. They were in a couple, losing a couple series in a row, and they won that weekend series to kind of put a stamp on the regular season and move on. But now it's a different. We're a couple weeks later. Tennessee had some impressive wins over Texas, over Alabama. Tennessee, won its Knoxville Regional. Tennessee's got some confidence. Again, I mentioned the emergence of some of these bullpen arms. The lineup is not just Gavin Keelan at the top, Hunter Inslee, Andrew Fisher. It's those guys. And, you got Cannon Peebles, you got Manny Marin, you got Levi Clark at the bottom of the order. That's been really, really good the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, you remember playing this team. Obviously, the style that they play and, the players, the personnel. But it is a completely different weekend because you are at different points in the season now. And things have happened since you last met. And I think the environment's going to be great. I think it's going to be good for Tennessee because Tennessee plays better away from home. And should be a really, really fun weekend, no doubt.
Eric, I want to go back to something that I noticed in the Knoxville Regional. I want to get your take on it because, it's always a topic of conversation, especially for those outside of Knoxville. But and Tony had commented on some of the emotions and some of the, if you want to call them antics or theatrics or what have you, but the energy and emotion this team plays with it. And it kind of felt like, correct me if I'm wrong, but at the end of the season, it almost kind of felt like they were trying to subdue that a little bit. But in the regional, I felt like Tennessee kind of got back to just being who they were. You saw Andrew Fisher hit a home run and lose his mind. Liam Doyle's Liam Doyle. So, Did you feel like this team is just kind of more embracing now just who they are and Tony's kind of just going to let them go? Or was that a one-off because of the situation? Because I think you and I'd probably agree, when things are going well and that team's fired up, there's probably not a more fun team in college baseball to watch than the product Tennessee puts out there. But obviously, as Tony's mentioned, there's a line to it of not letting it get out of control. But I feel like we're at a point in the season, you kind of just got to be who you are and let the chips fall where they may. Your thoughts on, was there a change for you, or was it just kind of the special circumstance because of the way those games went?
I don't think there was any change in terms of leadership or from the coaching staff or anything to try to reel that in. I think the change was simply, and this is elementary answer, but I think Tennessee just started playing better baseball. And, you saw Andrew Fish, and I'll give him credit, man. Not only has he brought it with a stick all year long, not only is he fully bought in, invested, and turned himself into a pretty daggone good first baseman, a position that he's never really played before this year. He came here to play third base, and honestly, sidebar, probably a blessing in disguise that he had a little bit of a back, soreness type deal or arm soreness type deal during preseason, and they put him over there at first, and that's where he stayed because his defense was a little bit shaky at the hot corner last year for Ole Miss. But anyway, I'll give him credit, man. He is always trying to jive everything up. He is always trying to juice everything up. And, that Vanderbilt series, you had him hit a home run in game 3, like in the first or the second inning, and he rounded the bases and he talked crap and he's pumping up the crowd. He pretty much almost incites a fight there because he is trying to get that place juiced and his team fired up, just trying to show some life, right? And, I mean, a couple weeks before that, you had Liam Doyle pushing a guy at home plate. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but pretty much trying to fight somebody at home plate. They're just trying to create something, but the play didn't match that. Now, the play's matching that. And you got Andrew Fisher that's losing his mind rounding the bases because he challenged the fans at Lindsey Nelson Stadium the night before. Not in a bad way, just kind of saying, hey, we need this to be the loudest it's ever been. We got to feed off of it. So he challenged the fans, and he backed it up, and he had a home run. He was just going completely nuts. And, of course, that capped off a 7-run inning where a true freshman had a 3-run home run a couple of batters before him for only his 3rd home run of the season. So I know I'm rambling here, but no, I don't think that they tried to reel it in. I just think the play is now matching that identity of who you are because it all looks fun and it's all cool whenever you're talking that crap and you're backing it up. When you're talking that crap and you're not backing it up, it's not so cool. But now Tennessee is getting back to being who they were in 22 and 23 to where you're going to talk that talk, you're going to back it up for sure, and that's kind of where you are heading in the Supers.
And, Eric, it's going to be an emotional weekend in Fayetteville, no doubt, with Tony Vitello's club and Dave Van Horn's squad facing off. Simply, thoughts on the weekend from a keys to the weekend standpoint, key players. We all know, obviously, the keys to baseball, timely hitting, great pitching, great defense. But is there anything that jumps out to you, maybe from what you saw when these two teams squared off a few weeks ago? Obviously, that was an interesting series from the standpoint. Marcus Phillips winning game 1. Tennessee wins that ball game, but they lose Liam Doyle's start and then lose a game 3. And obviously we understand the issues and struggles of game 3s. But for Tennessee this season, key to the weekend for the Vols, if they're going to go into Baum Walker, go into the hog pen and punch their ticket and go back to Omaha.
Pitching. Simple as that. It's like offense, defense, special teams, pitching, defense, hitting, and pitching. It'd be nice if Tennessee could play some clean defense as well to not make it hard on yourselves. But it's pitching, man. I mean, again, for a lot of the second half of the SEC slate, Tennessee's bats just weren't there. They were scoring 4 runs or less, and not going up there and winning individual battles and all that. But all that kind of turned again in the Vanderbilt series and then the Arkansas series, and you hit well enough to win that Arkansas series. The offense was not the issue. That carried over to Hoover and, of course, regionals. It was pitching, man. You mentioned Marcus. He had a pretty good showing in game 1. Liam Doyle did not have a good start. Tennessee's bullpen was not good, and that's got to change. Again, this is the deepest, most talented lineup that Tennessee's going to see, has seen this year, probably going to see, and your arms, the Russells, the Arvidsons, the Franklins, the Lloyds, everybody I mentioned earlier, again, you've got to take what you've been doing well here lately and put that on display against Arkansas because Tennessee was good enough offensively to win that series. Tennessee didn't because of the pitching. And so whether it's Liam Doyle on Saturday, starting things off on 4 days rest, if they go Marcus Phillips on Saturday, either way, I'm fine with it because if Liam Doyle is ready to roll, Tony Vitello says it all the time, like you want that crazy idiot to lead your team in battle just because there's something about him kind of leading off the weekend. But not if he pitches on Sunday, then you can go to Omaha or you can keep your season alive with your ace. And so that's not a bad decision as well. So I just think it all goes down to pitching, man. I think Tennessee's going to hit pretty well. I think Tennessee's got to have better starting pitching. I think Tennessee's bullpen's got to be there. And if not, it can be a long weekend because you've already kind of seen how that plays out. And it's interesting, I kind of compare Josh Heupel has had success over everybody in the Southeastern Conference since he's been Tennessee's coach, except Georgia. Tony Vitello has beaten the crap out of everybody except Arkansas. Can he tackle that monster this weekend? We'll see. It's a place that he's got a ton of respect for. I think he loves that fan base. I think he really enjoyed his time there. Van Horn is his mentor. He loves that man. But also, I think Tony would love to go down there and beat him and go back to Omaha for sure. So it's going to be interesting.
Eric, humor me for a moment because we all know the significance of getting to Omaha and what that says about your season, your program, but it's 5 straight Super Regionals for Tennessee baseball. It will be a 3rd straight Omaha appearance, and obviously won the national title last year, would have a shot this season. What would it say about this Tennessee baseball program from a national standpoint if they can make it 3 straight Omaha appearances? Again, you got 5 straight Supers. I mean, we're talking about Tennessee in the breath of the best programs in the country, if not the best program in the country. And they don't need to do that, but if they do that, I feel like you can speak on it, but I just what it would mean for the program would be immense to go back after last year. And especially after the season they've had, too, to still make it to Omaha would really be something.
Because, 23, again, you started the SEC slate 5-10. That was an Omaha team. 22 and 24, you were arguably the best team in the country, and you ended the season as the best team in the country. Number 1 overall seed. 2022, you fell short. 24, you won the whole thing. This year's kind of a tweener, right? Where you had a good start of the season, bad, half of the season, and we'll see what happens. They've shown that they can win in different ways. But I know your viewing audience, South Carolina fans, Missouri fans, all over the SEC. I get all that. So I don't want this to come off as orange shaded glasses, sunshine pumper. That's not necessarily even my style. Tennessee fans can attest to it. That's not necessarily my style, and I don't want to be on the other end of that as well. But Tennessee's already there, right? The history of the program, no. Arkansas, LSU, Texas. Again, Florida. There's some great programs historically that have won more games, been in the postseason more, been to Omaha more, won more national championships. I recognize that. I'm not disputing any of that. But since 2019, since COVID, nobody in college baseball has been better than Tennessee. Hands down, it's not even a contest. Nobody's recruited at a better clip year over year. I think Tennessee's won the transfer portal, and there's been a lot of great transfer portal additions, but I think Tennessee has won the transfer portal in terms of these Omaha teams. Look at some of those major players came from the portal. Maybe Tennessee didn't get 5 or 6, but they got 2 or 3, and they were big in. Look at this team, for instance. Tennessee got 4 players from the transfer portal. Andrew Fisher, Gavin Keelan, Liam Doyle, and then Tanner Franklin, who's a bullpen arm. 3 of the 4 are All-American type players. So since the COVID-shortened season, nobody in the country has been better than Tony Vitello. Nobody in the country has been better than Tennessee baseball. If Tennessee's able to win 2 games at Arkansas, you're going back to Omaha for the 3rd straight year, the 4th out of the last 5 years. Okay, 5 straight Super Regional appearances. Tennessee since the 2021 season, again since COVID, Tennessee is 14-1 in regional play. 2 number 1 overall seeds, 2 regular season SEC championships, 2 SEC tournament championships. Again, it's no contest who the best program in the country is right now. It's no contest. Again, Texas great, LSU. There's so many great programs out there historically and now, but the last 5 years, nobody's been better than Tennessee. So if Tennessee's able to get back to Omaha, it just continues to, you're just adding another year on those accomplishments, because I think Tennessee's already there. Tell me where I'm wrong here.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Over the last 5-year sample size, especially, I think. Yeah, I don't think there's a better program in the country than Tennessee.
And then you look at the recruiting rankings. I mentioned the portal a little bit. Yep. Look at the recruiting rankings. Tennessee has either had the number 1 class or like a top 5 class, 3, 4, 2, and it's incredible. Look at this year. Look at the 25 recruiting class. I think Tony's got, now you're going to lose several of these to the draft. Tony's got like 8 of the top 100 prospects. It's incredible, man. So again, in all areas, coaching, winning, recruiting, portal, 5 years is not a long time. I recognize that, but nobody's done it better over last year, 5-year sample size than Tennessee. So that's kind of where I'm coming from that. And again, it's not just a guy that covers Tennessee saying all that. I don't think I think Tennessee's already there.
Yeah, I think so too. Again, they don't need to get to Omaha again this season, but I do think it would be just that exclamation point of, even in a so-so, quote-unquote, so-so year, it's still Omaha for the Vols. Like you said,
I'll say this too. Like,
baseball
I know
in
this
June.
Is your interview and I'm running it, but it's been a weird year. It's been a tiring. I think that's a good way to phrase it. It's been a very tiring year for Tony Vitello.
Yeah.
Okay, you win a natty, and that's why you do it. It's all that great, but then you have all these celebrations. And then once those are over, you always continue to get asked about the natty, okay? And then all Tony and staff want to do is say, okay, that's there. Now we're here. We're going to leave that. Love that. Talk about that later. We're focusing on this. And so that's in its one area of this. And then you have Alberto Ozuna that I think has really weighed on him all year long, okay? It was a risk either way, and nobody's pointing the finger here, but they would not have accepted that transfer if they didn't think they had a great shot at it. And obviously it didn't pan out the way that they wanted to, and I think that's weighed on them. I do. And so I think that's been bugging them a little bit. And then the losses the back half of SEC slate, and everything else that comes with being a head coach in the SEC in this day and age in college athletics. So it's been a very tiresome year for Tony and for the Vols, but through it all, still a very good team, still winning games in late May and in June, and here you are, two wins away from Omaha. So if you are to be able to get back to Omaha again, I think that's just further testament to him as the coach, him as the leader, and all that and more.
Been an emotional year, and again, the emotions will be on full display this week, and it's certainly, if Tennessee can punch their ticket to Omaha yet again, you are going to see an outburst of emotions, not just from the team, but like you mentioned, probably the head man himself, Tony Vitello, and what's been an incredible up and down season there on Rocky Top. And Eric Cain of VolQuest and Locked On Vols will be covering it all. Eric, let folks know, if they don't already know, where they can check out your work.
Yeah, VolQuest.com. The majority of my baseball work's up there. Anybody can see. So go and check it out. And we're going to get you ready for Tennessee and Arkansas this weekend. Of course, Locked On Vols podcast every single weekday morning when you get up. Tennessee fans out there, if you want another Tennessee podcast, give us a try. Locked On Vols. I think you'll like it.
Eric, appreciate you taking the time, and I hope to see you in Omaha real soon, my friend.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate you.